This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
The After Party live on a Hide in Your Cave Monday. And here we are. We meet again. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Thank you so much for starting the show off with contributions. I see this one popping through from Susan Roberts with a $10 contribution to the After Party Live, this crowdfunded show. She says, hope coffee isn't going up too much. Thanks for all your hard work. Thanks, Susan Roberts, for the nice contribution and the nice words. Yeah, we'll talk about the most expensive coffee in the world. It's mind-boggling how anyone could pay this much for coffee. There are people out there, I'm sure, who will do it. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Thank you, Susan. And thank you to everyone who funds the show. We want to mention Wes, who pops in with a contribution today, James S., Deidre L., Chris H., Kathy O., all of whom have contributed via PayPal. The PayPal information is in the show description and in the About tab for the After Party Live here on YouTube. And the show doesn't go on without the contributions, and it's such a bummer to even have to do it that way. But that I guess is the new way of the new world, where you see shows getting canceled and you see stations closing down and people trying to make a go of it on their own, doing the shows on these platforms. So thank you for all the help to keep the show rolling right along. Appreciate that for not only this show, but Mark and Nikki's shows as well. All right, let's jump into that coffee story that Susan mentioned, because we have a new most expensive coffee in the world. It's this coffee tasting that was done. And apparently this coffee is supposed to be really, really, really good. I don't know if it's this good, though. It's called geisha coffee, and it's I guess a category of coffee that is very expensive. It's Panamanian geisha coffee. And they had this contest, the Best of Panama International online. And the, again, winner, because they've won before, was Hacienda La Esmeralda in Boquete, Chiriqui. The coffee was purchased by a buyer from Dubai. It sold at auction for a record $30,204 per kilogram. That makes it $13,705 a pound. That's some expensive coffee right there. When you talk about boutique coffee, yikes. Here it is. It's the Esmeralda. Apparently it's worth almost $14,000 a pound. It was a winning lot, again, purchased by a buyer in Dubai. This natural geisha category has seen Hacienda La Esmeralda win before. It's they had 50 lots, 30 of them sold for more than $1,000 per kilogram, or $454 a pound. They sold more than double at this auction than they did last year. The sales recorded more than $2.8 million at this auction, and it was mostly international buyers that came in. Bids from China, Japan, South Korea, Dubai, the United States, the United Arab Emirates. These are the folks with enough money to buy the fancy coffee, apparently. The kind of coffee that won, geisha coffee, which I hadn't heard of before, but it's an Arabica coffee native to Ethiopia. It's prized for its floral aromas, its fruity notes, its bright acidity, its silky body. But in this area of Panama where it's grown, apparently they say it's reached exceptional quality. Because of the altitude there, more than 4,900 feet, volcanic soil, unique microclimate. People started buying this coffee and charging a lot for it in 2004 when it was introduced at the Best of Panama competition. And since then, this geisha coffee has revolutionized the specialty coffee industry. It's won awards, it's broken price records. It's now known as the champagne of the coffee world. So, and it holds this variety, the geisha variety, the record for the highest price ever paid for coffee at a public auction. And so here we have it. Can you imagine paying almost $14,000 per pound of coffee? That is crazy. Good job, Hacienda La Esmeralda, for winning it once again. Yeah, that's some pricey coffee. I think I have video for you of this next story of this break into a home by a bear, and it was foiled by a little Pomeranian. You know, these little dogs, sometimes they think they're the big dog. That's what we have here. Take a look.
Like lap dog.
We're hanging out in West Van with Scout, a 2.5-year-old Pomeranian. He's all of 6 pounds, including the fluff. But don't be fooled by the adorableness. Under this tawny coat is the soul of a savage defender.
I was surprised, but also he's scary when he's mad.
Kayla Klein and her husband live next to this lush green space, where the only issue seems to be these visitations. The North Shore's curious and frequently brazen black bears. They've adjusted, but this Monday was a surprise.
It was around noon and I was in the washroom getting ready.
Kayla had the door open because of the heat when in waltzed this guy, sniffed around the TV a bit, and then headed for the kitchen. At this point, Scout was roused and decided, not on my watch.
He came sprinting around the corner and I just saw the bear running out of our kitchen and he chased it out of the house.
But Scout wasn't done yet. Out of the house is one thing. He wanted that bear off the property. Who wouldn't retreat in the face of a Pomeranian charge?
He just likes to assert his dominance, or like we'll call him the alpha dog.
By Thursday, this alpha dog was a star of internet and TV. Well, Kayla says they'll probably be keeping that door shut going forward. No doubt Scout's still ready to run off any intruders. Don't get hurt by the bears. In West Van, Paul Johnson, Global News.
Yeah, so there you go. Little Scout the Pomeranian is on the job. So funny. And lucky that Scout didn't get hurt. Let's move to this story about bifocals, because if you need them, which many people do, there is possibility that you won't have to wear them anymore because they're being replaced by eye drops. Eye drops, which you have to put in, at least once a day. They're good for 10 hours. The FDA is approving the first eye drop that could allow you to say goodbye to your bifocals, or at least rely on them less often. The pharmaceutical company Lens, Lenz, has developed Viz, V-I-Z-Z. They're big on the Z's. It's this ophthalmic treatment in the form of once daily drops that ease near object blurriness for up to 10 hours. There have been other eye drops kind of like this in recent years, but Viz appears to avoid annoying side effects and rare medical complications. So presbyopia, which is what causes many of us to use bifocals, is a common variant of farsightedness, and more than 128 million people in America are affected, most of them over the age of 45. It's a consequence of time, because over time, the lens of your eye naturally hardens up as we get older, and that makes it more difficult for the optical muscles to adjust between focal points. So usually you got your pair of reading glasses, or you swap your lenses or contact lenses for bifocals. But in 2021, the FDA approved this eye drop called Vuity to stimulate the pupil to contract. And it cleared up blurry books, computer screens, but there was a trade-off. Because of its effect on the muscle responsible for eye focus, the user's sight could dim slightly when distant objects became blurry. So sometimes people were reporting side effects like brow heaviness or retinal issues, fluid at the back of the eye. But they say this new Viz doesn't have the same complications because it uses a different type of medicine. So rather than stimulating the muscle, it affects the pupils while avoiding the other problems. So they did 3 randomized double-masked controlled phase 2 studies involving volunteers, human volunteers, and no one, they say, reported serious issues over 30,000 cumulative treatment days. They're hoping to have this eye drop widely available by prescription by the fourth quarter of 2025. So, are you going to put the drops in the eyes, or are you going to keep using your bifocals? It seems like if you're used to your bifocals, might as well. I know my mom has so many pairs of bifocals. They're all over the place. They're in drawers. She's never far away from a pair of reading glasses. I don't know. I mean, it's another medicine you have to take, but maybe it would be more convenient for some. What are your thoughts? The bifocals or the eye drops? The glasses. Tammy wants the glasses. Mindy's keeping the glasses. Yeah, keeping the glasses. No drops for CD OGG451. Yeah. People like, and it's funny because Heather would try it though. It's so weird because I think YouTube is doing this thing again where they're changing everyone's name. I was talking to my husband about this because he has reading glasses, and he said, I just keep the reading glasses. Why do I want to put drops in my eyes that only last for 10 hours and I have to do it every day? And no, I don't use these reading glasses. It's interesting. I don't know if it's because my body knows that I already have a hearing loss, so it's waiting before it allows me to have eye problems as well. So for some reason my ears are shot but my eyes are still working. But everyone I know that uses bifocals has told me I don't really want the drops. There's nothing wrong with the reading glasses. I'll just stick to that. So I don't know. Jim says it would depend on how much these drops cost. You have to put them in every day, though. They're only good for 10 hours. And if you didn't put them in the morning, but you find yourself wanting to read at night, well, then I guess you would just use the bifocals instead of the drops. I don't know. Interesting. Yvonne wants the glasses. Susan wants the glasses. Phineas wants a whole new fix. Nolophidian says, I have several pairs of reading glasses because they're very cheap at the local store. Yeah, a lot of people have different glasses around in different rooms, so you're never far from them. Teacher Lori says, I'd try the drops. All right. Very cool. I mean, maybe it's just a matter of getting used to a new thing and switching over. Maybe they're great. Who knows? Wes says, I'm 54. I just started needing readers about a year ago. Maybe the drops are for you. I don't know. Teacher Lori saying my old age farsightedness corrected my lifelong nearsightedness, and my eyesight actually got better. Yay. I'm glad at least one thing went right health-wise, right? We have to celebrate the small wins. Heather says LASIK fixed my distance vision, but now that I'm old, I need my cheaters to read stuff. LASIK can't fix that, and I hate it. I'd rather have drops, way more convenient. Well, then, good. Then this is going to be really good for you. And that's the thing is, it's different things for different people. Whatever calls to you and works for you. I could see using the drops as well, but I've never had to use bifocals, so I don't have to make that change. It would just be something new for me. Unfortunately for Beth, she says her sight changed for the worse after cataract surgery. Uh-oh, the opposite is supposed to happen. I'm sorry to hear that. Oh. The gloomy Maine Coon says specialized cornea implants are coming that can be programmed with a laser. What do you need a laser in your eyes for? You could be laser eyes? Yikes. Oh, man. All right. Well, that's coming. So that's exciting for some folks. How about this, though? There are some archaeologists in Mexico who have discovered a long lost city inhabited by Mayan rebels who resisted the Spanish inquest or conquest, I should say, not inquest. Here it is, Chiapas, Mexico. And archaeologists have discovered that after Spanish troops seized their capital, this group called the Lacandan Chol established a new settlement called Sac Balam, or Land of the White Jaguar. This is all in the dense jungles of Chiapas, Mexico, where archaeologists have now uncovered that long-lost city of Sac Balam, the Land of the White Jaguar. This is a group, the Lacandan Chol, who resisted Spanish conquests for more than a century. The Spanish forces seized the city in 1695, but in 1721, or by then, it had been abandoned. They looked through these researchers' 17th century Spanish chronicles for clues. They found a letter by a Spanish friar who recalled reaching the Mayan settlement after a 4-day journey through the jungle and a 2-day canoe trip along a river. They fed this historical information into a predictive model built with digital mapping tools, factoring in data on the region's terrain, vegetation, and waterways, and estimates of colonial era travel speeds. And by combining all the variables, they were able to find kind of what they thought was this city on a map and get an approximate range of where they thought that it could be located. So then archaeologists went there. They found stone structures, obsidian tools, ceramics, the ruins of a small Spanish church, and physical evidence, they say, that matched the Maya stronghold described in colonial documents. Established it was after the Spanish conquered the Lacandan Cha'al capital, which was called Great Rock, La Comtune, in 1586. This city that they then built became a refuge for Maya rebels determined to remain independent. The Spanish tried and failed to find this community, only succeeding when the leader of a different Mayan group offered to escort Catholic priests hoping to convert the folks in this hidden city. They had been trading, but also attacking and raiding Spanish allied Mayan towns for decades. And it looks like perhaps they say the other leaders had had enough. There were attempts at diplomacy, and they failed. Negotiations broke down, and then in 1695, Spanish troops, aided by other allies of Mayan tribes, occupied Sac Balam without needing to engage in battle. And they renamed the city of Our Lady of Sorrows is what they renamed it. They say, though, this city, is more than an archaeological find, that it really brings an opportunity to learn more about the lives of the indigenous people who resisted until their very last breath. They preferred to hide in the jungle and not be conquered. They say the discovery enriches the history of Chiapas and shows the dignity, identity, and strength of native groups. Did you know about that? I had never heard about that there were groups that resisted and formed their own secret hidden city. We will move to health. Not that this surprises anyone, but it seems that 62% of young Americans, no, that's wrong. Let me say that differently. 62% of calories that young Americans consume come from ultra-processed foods. My apologies for saying that wrong. The CDC says American young people between the ages of 1 and 18 get almost 62% of their calories from ultra-processed foods. They did a study from 2021 to 2023 that showed that adults age 19 and older get 53% of their calories from ultra processed foods. But for people 1 to 18, yeah, almost 62%. Even worse. Low in dietary fiber, they contain little or no whole foods. They have high amounts of salt and sweeteners and unhealthy fats. And eating this type of processed food, ultra processed food, has been associated with a higher risk of cardiovascular disease. It's a breakdown of this study, though, that's concerning. Shows among children, kids from age 1 through 5 get 56% of their calories from ultra processed foods. Kids aged 6 to 11, almost 65% of their calories from them. Then it dips a little from kids aged 12 to 18 at 63%. The top 5 sources of calories from ultra processed foods among kids: sandwiches, burgers, sweet bakery products, savory snacks, pizza, and sweetened beverages. So, we're doing the kids a disservice. I've heard parents say, well, my child won't eat anything other than Kraft mac and cheese, or my child will only eat chicken fingers, or my child will only eat this. I don't know. I don't think we need to bend to the will of children who will only eat a certain thing. They'll eat when they're hungry. They'll eat apples if they're hungry. If you keep buying the stuff you know is bad for them, they'll keep eating the stuff you know is bad for them. Who's in charge here anyway? We got to do it differently. Not cool. This is laying the groundwork for a lifetime of health, and we're not doing it right. Nope. On Mars, they're doing things a little differently. They found this. Look at this. It looks like a flower-shaped rock, doesn't it? The NASA Curiosity rover found this coral-like flower-shaped rock on Mars. And it's interesting looking. It really does look like coral. So the NASA Curiosity rover took some pictures, and they are estimating that these flowery rocks on Mars may be billions of years old. July 24th, it was that the rover sent images of wind-eroded rocks about 1 inch wide that resembled this piece of a coral reef. Does that mean there was an ocean there? NASA's saying that the rover has taken many images of rocks of this type. They said that when liquid water still existed on this planet, it carried dissolved minerals into the cracks of rocks. And when the liquid dried, it hardened. It deposited hardened minerals. They say that this is a common process seen extensively on Earth as well, but it has produced fantastic shapes on Mars, including flower-shaped rocks. They said at NASA the unique shape seen came to be after billions of years of sandblasting. Here's another photo that I found of this. It really looks a lot like coral, doesn't it? I mean, I'll buy their description of what they think happened, but I wonder if it's alive. I don't know. One of the rocks that's uniquely shaped, they actually named it. It's called Paposo. Another rock shaped like a flower was discovered in 2022, they said. They think the flower rock is believed to have formed as mineralizing liquids went through conduits in the rock. So far, the rover has explored 22 miles of Mars, and they previously found that chemical and mineral evidence were indicating evidence of previous habitable environments there. So they're going to keep gathering samples and data from times, they say, when Mars may have hosted microbial life. They found 1 inch rocks in a Gale crater and took images of a geological structure called the spider webs because of its pattern ridges that was another indicator of Mars previously having water that has since hardened. So the images being collected from Mars are raising some questions now about how the surface of this planet was changing billions of years ago. Did it once have rivers, lakes, and possibly an ocean? And if it did, why did the ocean dry up, making what's kind of a chilly desert now? They say water was still present underground that created changes even seen today. That eons of sandblasting by Martian wind wore away the rock, but not the minerals, and that would reveal networks of resistant ridges within. This, according to NASA. So, those are the flowery rocks of Mars. How interesting is that? I saw this. Someone emailed me the story. I'm sorry if I've forgotten who sent it to me, but this study was done, or I don't know, ranking was done by Food and Wine magazine of America's best seafood markets all across the country. And of course, this is number one was Pike's Place Fish Market in Seattle, where the fishmongers throw the fish back and forth. It's fun. It's a huge complex where there are locally grown products for sale, and then they have the fish market and they have restaurants there. And so Pike's Place Fish Market is number one. Number two, Conrad's Crabs and Seafood Market in Maryland, because they're known for their steamed blue crabs. Number three, the New Deal Fish Market in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Seasonal fish they have there. Oysters, mussels, scallops, jumbo shrimp, fish from New England. Number four is the Empire Fish and Seafood Market. That is in Milwaukee, which is a bit of a surprise. But they say it is number 4 on the list, the Empire Fish and Seafood Market. Number 5 is Crosby's Fish and Shrimp Company in South Carolina, Charleston, South Carolina. And number 6 was a bit of a surprise. It's right in my hometown. Anna's Seafood in Petaluma at number 6 on the list? What? We've known about Anna's for a long time. It's where you get, if you're not going to drive out to Bodega Bay, they sell Dungeness crab and they sell all kinds of fish. It was surprising, though, for me to see it listed as the 6th best seafood place in America. Because you would think that places right on the ocean would come in higher. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Anna's, they say, stands out for its locally sustainably sourced selection of fish, fresh catches from nearby docks. It is, of course, about an hour north of San Francisco. They've got live crabs, lobster, ahi tuna, swordfish, Dungeness crab, ready-to-eat seafood, clam chowder, poke, seafood kits that allow you to make cioppino at home. So Anna's Seafood in Petaluma ranked the 6th best fish market in the country. What's interesting is it came in ahead of the number 7 Porgy's Seafood Market in New Orleans. You would have thought that would have been higher. And 10th and M Seafood in Hawaii. No, rather in Alaska. 10th and M in Alaska. They have 2 locations in Anchorage. They have fresh and frozen off the boat catches from the Alaskan coast. You would have thought that would have come in higher. And the Pier 38 Fish Market, that's the one in Hawaii, where they get their fish directly from the Hawaii Longline Association, which is this consortium of fishermen in the area, or fisher people that are dedicated to sustainability. So Petaluma beats Alaska and Hawaii? Fascinating. I would have thought the Fisherman's Wharf in San Francisco, out where you can get the fish, but I guess most people don't really go down there to buy their fish straight off the boat. That this is a real, they're looking for a real marketplace. So yeah, there's Anna's Seafood in Petaluma at number 6 on the list. I have an update about that huge sunflower. Remember, we were going to keep our eye on it. It was growing and growing, and it's still growing. Well, it's now surpassed the record 30 feet 7 inches. This Indiana sunflower is now officially a world record breaker. It is 30 feet 7 inches tall. And the man who grew it, his name is Alex. He'd been trying to break the record. So this is not an anomaly. He's been working on it. He grew a sunflower last year that he thought he could break the record with, but ultimately it didn't work out. And now this effort this year is documented in a film called Bloom. So the Bloom people that documented the effort last year came back this week and filmed the moment that the sunflower named Clover unofficially beat the Guinness World Record. He broke the US record, which we talked about last week, when the flower hit 26 feet 8 inches tall. And now we've got 30 feet 7 inches. Boy, this is a fast grower. So now the height, Clover's height, has to be examined by the official Guinness World Records people to make this all official. But it looks pretty good for Clover. Finally, after working on this for years and years, he's got the sunflower record. This story is for Wes. It's about 3D printing. And for most part, they've done 3D printing with kind of a plasticky material, but now 3D printing is going toward titanium so that they can create parts for rockets, for the space industry. This large titanium fuel tank was made via 3D printing, and it passed a durability test. It withstood extreme temperatures and pressure in a world first for such a component as this. The announcement made by the Korea Institute of Industrial Technology, or KITEC. It was made from Ti-64 titanium alloy. It withstood pressures of 330 bar. It was cooled to minus 196 Celsius with liquid nitrogen. And it was all developed through a joint project with the Korea Aerospace Research Institute, KP Aviation Industries, and others. And this development, according to researchers, addresses the limitations of conventional manufacturing, makes the whole process of making things for the space industry faster and more customized, and offers an advantage by helping secure a domestic supply chain in this new competitive age of a private-led space industry. And now they're doing this with titanium. So just wanted to throw that out there. How about this story? It's the lotto of the day. And here we are. This Ohio man took a golf trip to Michigan, and while there, thought, I'll just buy this Powerball ticket. Why not? His name is Donovan. He's 68. Said he was visiting Michigan for a day of golf when he stopped at Big Daddy's Truck Stop in Ottawa Lake, and he bought a ticket for the July 23rd Powerball drawing. He said, I typically play Powerball in Ohio, but I was in Michigan for the day golfing, so I bought my ticket while here, checked the winning numbers the next day, and froze when I saw that I matched 4 white balls and the Powerball. He said, I was stunned. I've been playing these numbers for a while, and finally, they paid off. He scored 150 grand. He said the winnings will go into his daughter's college fund, not more golf trips. So there you go. $150,000 for a day of golf in Michigan? Sure, I'll take that. It is time for Hide in Your Cave Monday. And we're going to Morocco, to the Cave of Hercules. So beautiful. Look at that. It is one of the geological wonders, and it is a legendary grotto as well. Hercules Cave. It is in Morocco, but it is very close to Tangier. It has a rich history and legendary origins. This cave has intriguing geological formations, ancient inscriptions, a labyrinth of chambers, and archaeological treasures as well. They say it's a significant historical cultural site with very strong ties to Moroccan heritage and identities as well. It's a mix of geology and history. So here's what it looks like from the outside looking toward the ocean. You would think that it would be one of these ocean caves that isn't very deep, but that would be incorrect. Here it is, another shot of that, looking from the inside out. But then you turn around and looky look. It's beautiful. So beautiful inside this cave. And one of the things are saying, it talks about the natural beauty and the stunning coastal views and the carvings, ancient carvings. So beautiful. It's, as I mentioned, steeped in history and is a cave of legends. This is called the Cave of Hercules, and it's been linked to one of the mythology's most celebrated figures. According to legend, this is where Hercules rested after completing his 12 labors, pausing before his final feat, stealing the golden apples from the garden of Hesperides. Another version suggests he carved the Strait of Gibraltar, splitting Africa and Europe apart with a single blow to create a passage to the Atlantic. But the cave's unique opening is really part of its legendary status, where the crashing waves frame the silhouette of Africa. They say nature itself carved a tribute to the continent. When you look out at sunset, the view transforms into a breathtaking spectacle, turning this cave into one of Morocco's most photographed natural wonders. It also became a site of cultural and economic exchange because it's very close to Tangier. So it was a bustling port for Romans and Berbers and Phoenicians. And the caves served as both a waypoint and a place of intrigue for everyone that walked through. There's also evidence of early human history here. Signs of habitation as far back as 6000 BCE, so it becomes one of the oldest sites for human presence in Morocco. Shelter, it was used for trade, resource extraction as well. It was officially opened to the public in 1920, and it's drawn a lot of visitors. And that's really what they're worried about now, is how to keep sharing this cave, but also how to protect this cave, the Cave of Hercules. There are merchants there that are selling things, but there are also a lot of items that were found in this cave that are on display as well. So it's how to protect the history of what they call time and legend. It is known for its stunning geology, rock formations shaped by nature, stalactites, stalagmites. They say make it feel like another world. The Cave of Hercules, they say, takes you back in time. It is a vast cave system. Its unique entrance, shaped like Africa, we'll go back to that picture. They say it's shaped like Africa. You can see it right there with that unique entrance. Is striking. They say it sparked many legends and myths, attracting visitors from everywhere. They call it a must-see, an unforgettable adventure. It's a maze of tunnels and chambers water has carved over thousands of years. It holds archaeological treasures, ancient inscriptions, artifacts. You can take a tour to see all of these things. So, It's really beautiful. Um, it's a symbol, they say, of legend and history. You can see the paths, admire the rocks, and dive into the stories that make it one of the most famous spots in Morocco. So there it is. The Cave of Hercules is another view of it. And again, the inside. Look at those rock formations. Just amazing. Here's looking outward. They have it all lit up. Pretty busy cave, though. That's Hide in Your Cave Monday for today. Cave of Hercules. And thus we come to the end of the After Party Live. Thank you so much to Susan and to everyone who contributes via PayPal. So appreciate you guys helping out and funding this show. And thank you for spending your Monday afternoon with me. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it's totally beautiful. It's just amazing. I don't know. It's interesting. I'm not sure why. And that's a great question. Peter asks, isn't Hercules Greek mythology? What's it doing so far south? Did the Greeks do this? I don't know, but it's supposed to be where he did one of his 12 labors. So not sure. Very interesting. All right. I'll let you guys go. Thank you for spending this portion of your Monday. Please make it the very best day and join us tomorrow on the Mark Thompson Show at 11 a.m. David K. Johnston will be on the show. We may have some other surprises in store as well. So I will see you right back here on YouTube. But for now, bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
You're right, it was, and I didn't mean for it to be. My apologies. Thanks, Yvonne.